2 times x equals 30. When you have multiplications, the opposite to multiplication is always division. You want to make sure this number is 1. To make that number 1x, you got to divide both sides by 2. X equals 30 divided by 2, which is what? 15. Now, the biggest mistake I've seen people do, they see a problem like this, 30x equals 10. I said, solve it for x. And guess what they divide by? They divide by 10. Why? Well, that's a smaller number. It's not by the smaller number. You want to make this 1x. 1x. The only way to get rid of that 30 here is by what?
Dividing by itself.
Divide by itself, exactly. You got to divide this by 30 to make it a 1. So if you divide this side by 30, you divide that side by 30. X equals, you can cancel the zeros, that's 1/3, not a 3. But people always want to take 30 divided by 10, that's a 3. No. 30 times a 3 does not equal to 10. 30 times a third is 10. 1/2 x equals 1/3. That's multiplication too. I need to solve for 1x, so I'm going to divide this side by a half. If I divide this side by a half, I got to divide this side by a half. X equals, and here's the fun. How do we divide a third by a half? Oh, I like that answer. You said change it to multiplications. It reads right now 1/3, that's what it reads, divided by 1/2. That's what it says to me. Take 1/3 divided by 1/2. Remember your division? We change it to multiplication and we change that to what? The reciprocal, 2 over 1. 1/3 times 2 over 1. How do you multiply fractions? The top times the top. 1 times 2, 2. The bottom, 3 times 1, 3. So x will have to be 2/3. You don't need LCD when you're dividing or multiplying. Now a shortcut to a fraction by a fraction, when you have a third divided by 1/2 and you don't want to spend 4 or 5 lines doing it, is a shortcut. It's always the outside and this is the inside. You multiply them. It's always the outside over the inside. When you multiply the outside, what is 1 times 2?
2.
2. What's the inside? 3 times 1? Is that the same answer? So it's always outside over inside. Always. When you have a fraction by a fraction. So you'll see me use that outside over inside, instead of going, oh, that's division, change it to multiplication, multiply. Just go outside over the inside. Again, where you might have a little difficulty, if one is a fraction, the other one is not. 3x equals 2/5. So you're going to divide by what here? By 3. So I got to divide this side by 3, divide that side by 3. X equals, well, that's not a fraction by a fraction. Can we write the 3 as a fraction?
Yes.
3 over what?
1.
3 over 1. Now you do the outside over the inside. 2 times 1. 2, 5 times 3, 15. Outside over the inside. So if the numbers are not fractions, make them a fraction. Go with the 3 is 3 over 1. 1/5 y equals 2. You go, the 2 is 2 over what? 1. So I'm going to divide by what to make it 1y?
1/5.
1/5. So I'm going to divide this side by 1/5. Divide this side by 1/5. Outside over the inside. 2 times 5.
10.
10 over 1 times 1. What's 10 over 1?
10.
10.
Scares me when I understand math.
It's really nothing complicated. If it's decimal, if it was 2.5, m equals 10.2. That's a multiplication again. What's the opposite to multiplications?
Division.
Division. I'm going to divide this side by 2.5, divide that side by 2.5. M equals, again, you can't divide these numbers because the number on the bottom is not a whole number. So I got to make it a whole number. Move the decimal point one place. If you move this one place, you move that one place. So it's 102 over 25. Well, the fact they're giving you decimal numbers, there's a good chance they want the answer as a decimal number. So if I go to the right side and divide them, what is 102 divided by 25? Remember, the decimal point here, I don't see it, but there is one here, and there's as many zeros as you need. We have infinite supplies of zeros. You can put as many as you want. It doesn't change your number. I probably don't need them all, but let's see. Move that decimal point up here. Can I divide 1 by 25? No. 10 by 25? 102 by 25? 4, that'll be 100. The remainder is what? 2. Bring that 0 down. 20 by 25. Can't. Bring the other 0 down. 200 by 25. 8. 8 times 25. 200, and we're done. So my answer is 4.08. What about if you have negative y equals negative 15? You want to solve it for plus, not negative y. That negative is really negative what?
1.
Negative 1. We just don't put the 1. So to change it to a positive 1, I need to divide this side by what? Negative 1. I got to divide that side by negative 1. What is y equal to?
15.
15. Now you can use the problem backward. Let's say I came to you and said, oh, my friend just sold their house. Well, he did, yes. Matter of fact, I was in the gym today and the guy was telling me he sold his house. He didn't tell me what he sold the house for, but he said, I had to pay $21,000 commission. Well, mistake. You tell a math person that number, we can tell you what you paid for the house. I go, oh, the commission is 7% in Massachusetts. That's what every real estate company charges. So 0.07, that's what 7% times the price of the house. That's how they figure the commission. 7% of the price of the house, and in your case equals what? 21,000. Instead of the price, I should say the price sold or the selling price, because it doesn't matter what you ask him for, is what you sell it for. Can I solve for the price now? What it's sold for? How would you solve this for P?
Divide both sides by 0.07.
Perfect. Divide both sides by 0.07. And again, I'm going to go and divide them, but before I divide them, notice this number is not a whole number. Move the decimal point how many places? 2. If you move this 2, you got to move the one on the top 2. Well, the one on the top doesn't have a decimal point. So where is it?
Yeah.
At the end, sure. Move it 2 places. So what's the price? 2100000 divided by what? 7. And what's 21 divided by 7? 3, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So how much did he sell his house for? $300,000. We can tell you what these numbers are. If I said to you, I just got a car a few months ago and I just got my excise tax. My excise tax on the car, they charge us 2%. 0.02 E for excise. I'm sorry, the price, the value of the car, not E. Where's my whiteout? That's the excise tax, 2%. I don't know if it's 2%. I'm just guessing somewhere in that neighborhood.
I think it's 2.5.
2.5?
Yeah.
Okay. 0.025 then. Of the value of the car. The value, not what you paid for it, is what the town thinks your car is worth. So you pay 0.025 times the value of the car. That's what your excise tax. And let's say you bought a car, a new car, you're probably going to pay $900 for excise tax. If you just got a new car this year. So now can we figure what the value, how much the town thinks your car is worth? We divide both sides by what? 0.025 to make it a whole number. Again, that number is not a whole number. Can we change it to a whole number? Move the decimal point how many places? 3 places. Move this 3 places. So it ends up being what? 900,000 divided by 25. And let's go to the side and divide that and see what the value of the car according to the town is. $90 by 25, 3. 3 times 25 is 75. The remainder is what? 15? Bring that 0 down. 150 by 25 is 7, is it? That's 6, I think. 6 times 25 is 150. And what happens? You have 3 zeros. So the town thinks your car is worth now $36,000. Maybe you bought a BMW. You know? Small one. But that's how they figure what your value of the car is. If you know what you're paying for excise tax, and if you know the percent is 2.5%, you can figure what the value of your car according to the town. Now let's mix the two topics together. Right now we did the multiplication, we did the addition, but we didn't mix them together. How about if you have a problem that has both of these in it? So here's an example. 3x plus 4 equals to 7. Again, remember my goal. X is on one side, numbers on the opposite side. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to take that plus 4, move it from this side to that side. Change side, change what? Sign. This becomes 3x equals 7 minus 4. What is 7 minus 4? 3. We get the x's on one side, the number on the opposite side. My second goal, I want to make sure this number is 1, not a 3. So to make it a 1, what do? Divide by 3. X equals 1. R over 2 minus 5 equals 9. The same thing. This is a minus 5. I'm going to move that to that side. R over 2 equals 9 plus 5. What's 9 plus 5? 14. Now this is division. How come we didn't discuss division here? I never really discussed if you have division. I just did multiplications. When you're dividing by 2, isn't that the same as multiplication by what? By a half. There's a 1 here. We just don't put it. Excuse me. So R over 2, it's really 1/2 R equals 14. That's what that is. So now division becomes multiplication. What's the opposite to multiplication here? What do? We divide by 1/2. 14 divided by a half. The 14 is 14 over what? 1. The outside times the outside. 28 over the inside. 1, which is 28. If you don't like that, when you have division here, you want to make that a whole number. The easiest thing to do is multiply both sides of the equation by 2. If you multiply it by 2, what happens to these 2's? Cancel, you end up with R equals what? 14 times 2? 28. So when you have division, think of opposite to that, which is multiplication. Just like when you have multiplication, the opposite is division. So 2 different ways of doing it. I think that's quicker when you have division. Instead of changing it to multiplication, apply the rules of multiplications. Let me try another one similar to this. C over 5 minus 1 is equal to 8. Again, all the variables on one side. So I'm going to take the minus 1, move it there, becomes what? Positive 1. What's 8 plus 1? 9. This is a division. The opposite to division is what? Multiplication. Multiply this by 5. Multiply that by 5. C equals 9 times 5, 45. (13t plus 5 equals negative t plus 12. This is where my method comes in handy. Change side, change sign. I want all the t's on one side, all the numbers on the opposite side. Take the minus t, move it to this side to put all the t's on one side. Take the plus 5 and move it that way. Change side, change sign. Here's the 13t. I'm bringing to this side negative t. That becomes what? Plus t. The 12 I'm not moving, so it doesn't change. I'm taking the plus 5 there. When you take the plus 5 there, it becomes what? Negative 5. What's 13t plus t? 14t, good. What's 12 minus 5? What is it? 7. And if you want to solve for t, you're going to divide now by what? By 14. What's t equal to? 1/2. Couple more problems. If I have this one, 2c equals negative 3 c minus 5.
Parentheses first.
Do what's inside the parentheses. 2c equals negative 3c plus what? 15. All the c's on one side, all the numbers on the opposite side. No, you're changing it first. Bring it to this side. That's 2c. When you bring the minus 3c to this side, becomes what? Plus 3c. What's 2c and 3c? 5c equals 15. And now to solve for c, you got to divide by 5. c equals 3. This is actually section 3. I'm not done with it, so I'll add more next time. I'll make a separate video for it, but this is really section 3 where you combine the two rules together. So you have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division all in one problem. So I just started doing that. I'll make it worse next time when I see you.